I know I invited you over to study, but I think we both know the test was yesterday.
Isn't the test tomorrow?
The test was yesterday.
Isn't the test tomorrow?
The test was yesterday.
Isn't the test tomorrow?
No, the test was yesterday.
Isn't the test tomorrow?
I kid you not, he turns himself into a pickle.
We are in Brea Studios, and there are 3 rooms here, and there are 2 rooms here, and there are 2 littles here, 2 large hard dicks, and Rogers, and we are on Rogers in 3 large Kirks. Strange that may seem.
Wow, 1,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd make it this far, let alone this fast. And as you all may know, I've been very secretive about my face for very personal reasons. It's just that when you're a teenage boy, you don't feel like the internet should see your face. But that all ends today. So, without further ado, here we go. This is it. This is who I am, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And with that out of the way, I would now like to start talking about my record collection. Hello everyone, and welcome to my 1,000 subscriber special. Sorry I had to dupe you all with that face reveal thing, but I had to get you guys watching one way or another. For those of you who actually stayed after the non-face reveal, I salute you, you're all troopers. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing my records, which is a really non-YTP thing to do, but whatever. Let's just jump into it. Alright, so we start off with AC/DC's Back in Black, and it's a pretty good heavy metal record and all that stuff. Hell's Bells, the opener, it's like the perfect opener. If I'm just gonna listen to all these records from start to finish alphabetically, Hell's Bells is like the perfect song to open on. It's not the best song, that would probably be Back in Black, I mean obviously the title track. But yeah, I mean, it is the perfect song to open on. And likewise, the last song on the last album I'm going to review, it's a great song to close on. They're both very epic songs. So yeah, the middle section of this album that isn't Hell's Bells, Back in Black, You Shook Me, Shoot to Thrill, all that stuff, it kind of falls inferior, but it's still a nice listen. It's still decent. It's a pretty nice rocky record. Next up we have the B-52's Wild Planet. Some new wave stuff right here, and yeah, I'm just gonna say it's not my thing really. I don't really like it that much. I don't know if it's just the vocals or whatever. It's not my thing. The only good thing I really got to say about this album is it comes in delicious cherry color. If only the rest of the album sounded good as it tasted, which it doesn't taste good. There's better new wave out there, and I'm gonna find it. Here's where Beatlemania begins with Rubber Soul. This is one of my favorite Beatle albums. It's got great lyrics. I mean, the lyrics, they're just fantastic on this record. From Norwegian Wood to Nowhere Man, Michelle, Girl in My Life, great song. The only song that I have a problem with is Wait. It's pretty forgettable in my opinion. This really sparked a change in the Beatles' music, which is why it's one of my favorites. So, yes, I definitely would recommend this one. Next we have Revolver, the other mature album. And it's a really great album. There is no bad song, in my opinion. There are weak songs, but there is no really bad song. I mean, you start off with Taxman, and you go into Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping, Love Me Too. We all got these great songs. They're only weak. They're barely weak, honestly. This is a really solid album. But honestly, I'd rather listen to Rubber Soul more. I don't know why. It's just maybe the lyrics. I mean, Revolver, it's a great album, but Rubber Soul just appeals to me more. I don't know why. But still, I would definitely recommend Revolver. It is a really psychedelic experience, I think. Probably even more psychedelic than Sgt. Pepper's. Speaking of Sgt. Pepper's. Yep, everything you've heard about this album is true, and probably even more. This is a really great album. This is my favorite Beatles record of all time because it's just very fun. I like fun. That's just who I am, and I mean, granted the songs on Rubber Soul and Revolver are technically better, but the Beatles just sound like they're having a hell of a time on this record, especially on Lucy in the Sky, With a Little Hope for My Friends, Lovely Rita. I think it's kind of underrated. Some of my favorite songs on this album are the slow numbers, like She's Leaving Home, Within You Without You. Those are just phenomenal slow pieces. I mean, I would definitely recommend this. I mean, who the hell wouldn't? It's freaking Sergeant Pepper's. Oh, hey, look, it's Sergeant Pepper's deranged brother. Magical Mystery Tour. How you doing, old buddy? So yeah, this it's a great album, but it just pales in comparison to any other great Beatles album. Magical Mystery Tour is nice. Fool in the Hill is nice. Flying is nice. Wu Jay Way is actually one of my favorite songs. Your Mother Should Know is nice. I Am the Walrus is a ride. Side 2 is technically much better than Side 1 because it features all the singles, I mean, including Strawberry Fields Forever, which is one of my all-time favorite Beatles pieces, so it has that going for it. Oh, and All You Need Is Love, and I also like this for the back cover, not just the front cover. It's also got a little book inside, so that's nice. I'd recommend this, just not as much as other people. Now to the White Album. This album is very racist. I want it out of my sight immediately. But in all seriousness, it's a good album. It's a really great album. Revolver's better, but it's a great album. Dear Prudence is a wonderful slow number, and while Honey Pie, it's so stupid. It's so bad, but I kind of love it because it's so stupid and bad. There's also Piggies and Mother Nature's Son. Mother Nature's Son is a very calming, slow piece. I like that. Oh, and Julia. Julia is a great song. And I want to mention Revolution 9, but I want to save that for another time. So, yeah, the Beatles, the White Album. It's great. Not as great as Revolver, but amazing. I'd put it in S tier. Oh yeah, I'm gonna rank these albums when we're done. So yeah, when I'm gonna rank all these albums on a tier maker when I'm done with this. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be in the same video, and just when you think I was done reviewing the albums, I'm gonna rank them. You're not safe. Oh, Abbey Road. This my second favorite Beatles album. I mean, Rubber Soul is my personal favorite, and Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road are technically better. Still, it's a wonderful album built on love and wonderful, wonderful progressive music. Come Together is a nice bluesy beat. Something is a wonderful love song. Oh Darling, that's great. Octopus's Garden, one of Ringo's finest. I Want You, She's So Heavy. Oh my god. The only thing that could surpass I Want You, She's So Heavy in greatness is Here Comes the Sun. Oh, and then there's the medley, the wonderful medley. I think it's the greatest thing the Beatles ever did, to be honest. And no one will tell me otherwise. This is one of their finest records that was written in one of their darkest times. I also consider it to be their last record. There are some people who consider Let It Be to be the last one. No, Abbey Road is the last one, and if you think Let It Be is the last one, then you are a sexist, racist, misogynist moron who I want to kill. Okay, next album. This is a 1970 OG pressing of Black Sabbath's Paranoid, and yeah, I love this album. It's a great, heavy album. Side 1's better than Side 2, but you already knew that. Not to say that Side 2 has any bad things. War Pigs, great anti-war song. Paranoid, it put them on the map. I love it. Planet Caravan is it's a nice tune. Almost Simon & Garfunkel-esque tune. Iron Man, it's Iron Man, what can you say? Electric Funeral is also kind of progressive. I wouldn't call that progressive. And the Doom is probably the most forgettable song on the album, but it's still nice. Rat Salad, the instrumental, that's nice too. Varies way, but it's a great closer, a great heavy album. I really recommend this one. Most of the albums here are going to be recommended because they're so good. You don't have to buy these on vinyl, although I recommend it. You could just listen to them digitally or on CDs. I don't care. Just listen to them. Records are just my thing. You have to find your thing. If records are not your thing, that's fine. Next up, David Bowie, Hunky Dory. This is a great art folk album. Yes, I consider this art folk. It's folk with an artsy edge to it. It's got great songs. Changes and Oh You Pretty Things are your standard good ones. 8-line Poem is pretty forgettable, but Life on Mars, oh my god, that's such a freaking great one. Kooks is nice. Quicksand is amazing. Fill Your Heart cover, it lacks, kind of like 8-line Poem. Andy Warhol, it's got a nice flamenco theme to it. I dig it. Song for Bob Dylan, yeah, that's kind of forgettable, but it's still nice. The Queen Obscenity, that's a nice proto-punk song. I mean, the Bewley Brothers. Where do I begin with the Bewley Brothers? It's a great closer. So yeah, Hunky Dory it's a great album for the upcoming David Bowie. I mean, it's not his first album, but I consider it to be his first true best album. I don't know. I haven't listened to The Man Who Sold the World yet, so I can't tell you. I hear everyone say The Man Who Sold the World is one of his greatest, but I'll be the judge of that. I think I'll like it. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. A great rock opera. I mean, 5 Years, in my opinion, is one of his best works, along with Moon Age Daydream, Starman, and Hang On To Yourself, which dives more into that proto-punk that Bowie explored with in Hunky Dory. Oh, and there's Suffragette City and Ziggy Stardust. Those are great punk songs as well. Also, this album's got a nice edge to it, a nice sci-fi edge to it. It's not afraid to go where other artists would go, and Lady Stardust is a very good pro-LGBT song. At least I think it's pro-LGBT. It's still great. It's a great album. And Rock and Roll Suicide, great closer. Most of these albums have great closers, honestly. Now on to Aladdin Sane, David Bowie's first big hit after Ziggy Stardust, and it's a great album. Watch That Man and Aladdin Sane, Driving Saturday, Panic in Detroit, Cracked Actor, Time, The Prettiest Star, Let's Spend the Night Together, The Gene Genie, Lady Grinning Soul. I know I just listed the entire tracks, but I couldn't help it. They're all just so good. I mean, I wouldn't put this in S tier. Definitely I'd put it in A tier because the big production value, especially after Ziggy was such a big kid, it kind of turns me off, but they're still great lyrics, great writing, good instrumentation. It's still got that great Bowie flair, which I enjoy. I mean, there really is no bad thing to say about it, aside from the production turning me off. Well, aside from Cracked Actor might be fall inferior to most of the tracks, in my opinion, but that's only my opinion. Watch That Man, it's also a good track, because the lyrics are very drowned out, and so they let the instruments take over, and the instruments do a great job. And yeah, I think this is a fundamental album, not just for the cover art alone, because I think some people just buy this for the cover art. Because I don't hear anyone talking about the songs from Aladdin Sane aside from Gene Genie. This is a really great album. So, from late 2018 to late 2019, I was a bit of a classical music geek. Yeah, I share that with one of my subscribers, Calamity in Action, one of my collaborators. I think he'd enjoy my collection of all Brahms 4 symphonies, and yeah, it's a nice collection. It's got nice soothing music. It can be epic, it can be sad. I mean, that's what I like about classical music. It's very eclectic. I think that's the word. Ooh, let's read some of the reviews. This is The Chosen One by Robert Schumann. Brahms will be the one to bring balance to the force. He will destroy the Wagner, not join him. Oh, let's see here. Hugo Wolf says that he is a failure. Mahler says he only rarely does he do good themes. Tchaikovsky calls him feeble. Alright, so everyone hates Brahms. I hate Brahms now because everyone hates Brahms now. Honestly, this is a great collection of great symphonies, but my one turn off would be the records listed here. They're not listed in order. You listen to the first half of a symphony, you expect it to be on side 2. And it is, but on the second record. You'd think that the second symphony's first half would be on the second record, but it's not. It's on the third record, and I don't know why. It's weird. Why do I have to change records? Why can't I just flip the sides? It's stupid. Was this like the thing for 70s records to do? If so, I hate it. I don't know why they do it. I want it to stop. I want you to stop. Where was I? Oh yeah, Brahms, great symphonies, yeah, blah 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 blah. So when making this tier list for the records, I expected to have one album by the time of shooting this video, and guess what? I don't. So I guess what? I'm just gonna have to resort to the CD, Jimmy Buffett, Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes. I might as well just review it because it's already on my tier list, and I already have it on CD form right here. I wish I had it on vinyl. I don't know why, but I do. So, this album played a pretty big part in my childhood, and looking back, it kind of didn't age well. But looking back even further, it actually did age well. I mean, soft rock isn't exactly my thing, but Buffett kind of makes it work. He takes these soft yacht music of Peter Frampton and combines it with the penmanship of Bob Dylan. It really is a nice record. I mean, Margaritaville, you've already heard that one, but the slow songs are honestly the best songs on the record. Wonder Why We Ever Go Home, Banana Republics, Lovely Cruise, Biloxi. Those are some nice, great pieces. I mean, I wouldn't put this in S tier or anything. I mean, it did not deserve S tier, but at the very least, it deserves some praise. It's a great record. Now, on to a Buffett record that I do have.
I wish I could say it was good too. Floridays. I wish this was good. I wish this was a good record. Because it has nice moments, but it's just drowned out by how 80s it is. I mean, it is so 80s. It's got synthesizers that sound like brass. It's got the steel drums. This is when Buffett started not caring. It just started becoming that beach bum from Florida that we all know and tolerate. This album's got nice lyrics. It's got decent lyrics. It's not his best writing, but it's good. I mean, I love The Now and First Look. They're great songs. Creola, yeah, no, I don't want that. Meet Me in Memphis, I used to like, but I find it too brass synth driven. Nobody Speaks to the Captain No More it's a nice acoustic tune, but there's a better one later. Floridays, it's the same problem as Creola. It's too generic for him. If It All Falls Down in Oakland on Sunday, they're just plain forgettable. When the Coast is Clear, by far the best song on the album, honestly, because it's got really nice instrumentation, great lyrics. It's a nice gem. You'll never work in this business again. I don't know why. I just think it's very racist. I always skip it whenever I have to listen to this album. You know, it's a damn shame. Jimmy Buffett, he's got good lyrics. He speaks well. He's got a small fan base, but the majority of people pass him by. A small fan base, great writing. Can be funny, walked on by a lot of people. Jimmy Buffett truly is the wanderer over yonder of rock and roll. Now on to some more psychedelia. We got the Doors here. We got Jim Morrison. We got the others. Yeah, Jim Morrison is like the only guy on this record that matters. Oh, aside from Ray Manzarek. Yeah, I actually like Ray better than Jim. He's this guy. He's the organ player. And this is a really great psychedelic record. It's great pieces. Break On Through to the Other Side. Great album opener. Soul Kitchen. Oh, okay. Yeah. Crystal Ship. It's slow. It's not the best, but it's really good. 20th Century Fox. Not good. But not bad either. Alabama Song. It's a great cover. Light My Fire. It's one of their best songs. At least one of their best known songs. Backdoor Man's pretty nice too. I Looked at You. End of the Night. Take It As It Comes. Those songs don't fare as well as the songs that came before it, but they're alright. But the end. It truly is the end, because it's like probably it's their best song of all time, honestly, even better than Riders on the Storm or whatever. This is one of the greatest albums of the psychedelic and proto-prog movement. I would definitely recommend. Next up is Waiting for the Sun. It's like the Doors are, the Doors psychedelia thing is still there, but you can clearly tell they're pandering to the pop stuff, especially in songs like Hello, I Love You, Love Street, Wintertime Love. We Could Be So Good Together. Yeah, they're very poppy love songs. My personal favorites are Not to Touch the Earth, The Unknown Soldier, Spanish Caravan, and 5 to 1. They're really good. That's all I can say about them. I mean, 5 to 1 is personally the best song on the album. There really isn't much to say about this album, to be honest. It's just another one of the Doors albums. Moving on. Morrison Hotel. The Doors' penultimate album with Jim Morrison before he croaked. It's structured like a double album. One side is called Hard Rock Cafe, the second is called Morrison Hotel, which begs the question, why didn't they make this a double album? Just have one disc called Hard Rock Cafe and another disc called Morrison Hotel. You didn't have to make one side just... I don't know. This album's got good songs, but it's rather disjointed, making it kind of forgettable. Roadhouse Blues, Waiting for the Sun, great. You Make Me Real, great. Peace Frog and Blue Sunday, Peace Frog is better than Blue Sunday. Ship of Fools, great. Great organ work by Ray. Got kind of forgetful lyrics, but you can forgive all that. Now on to the second side, Land Ho. Yeah, it's about as fun as it sounds. The Spy is nice. Dark, dirty, bluesy stuff. I dig it. Queen of the Highway is the worst song on this record. I mean, it's not that bad, but it pales in comparison, honestly. Indian Summer is just beautiful. I love this song because it's just so beautiful. Maggie McGill is probably the dirtiest the Doors have ever been, honestly. And so yeah, but this is a good record. It's got good songs on it, but it really just works better if it were just a double album. I wonder if there's that world where the Doors made Morrison Hotel a double album, and it would probably be the best timeline for society. But you gotta make do with what you got. This is a solid album, I guess. Next Next up, we got LA Woman. This is my favorite of the Doors albums. I mean, Doors 1967 was better, but LA Woman it's just my favorite because it's fun, it's bluesy. I mean, it's disjointed like Morrison Hotel, but at least it's disjointed in a fun way. There really are no bad songs on here. The Changeling is nice, Love Her Madly, Been Down So Long, Cars Hissed By My Window is a nice bluesy track. The title track it's great as well. Hyacinth House is actually a beautiful piece on such a hard blues album. The White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, or the Wasp, it's a nice spoken words thing, and it leads to the nice Riders on the Storm song. It's really a fun ride from start to finish, and even though it ends on a kind of sad note with Riders on the Storm, since it was like the last song that Jim recorded with the Doors, it's still a great album. I put this under S tier for so cool, and yeah. Next up we have George Harrison, the guitarist, the quiet one, and his self-titled album from 1979. It's a really nice, feel-good soft rock album. I think I can even find some Buffett influence from this one, honestly, in songs like Blow Away, because they really sound like songs that he would write. Just nice, positive songs about forgetting about life for a while and being happy. These are really the songs that Buffett would write, and Harrison, he does a good job with this album, with songs like Love Comes to Everyone, Here Comes the Moon. Nice. Faster and Your Love Is Forever. These are great songs. It brings that nice chill vibe. This is a really, really great album, honestly, and I love it. I wish I could say the same for his next album, Somewhere in England. It's famous for its troubles in production, and as a result, the album seems very disjointed, a lot like the Doors albums, but worse. Blood from a Clone, it's nice. Unconscious Note Rules and Live Itself, I Forget They Exist. All those years ago, it says George's tribute to John. It's great. It's the greatest song on this album, honestly. Baltimore Oriole. I only remember that song because I live near Baltimore, so... Teardrops. Too similar to Blood from a Clone. Pass. That Which I Have Lost is a nice guitar lick. Writings on the Wall, I Forget To. Hong Kong Blues. I think there's a gong in there, I don't know. Save the World is nice, but it just feels too weird and out of place. I mean, I get it. Save the world from the pollution and the evil corporations. You don't have to add the Pink Floyd sound effects, George. This album must have been so mad that someone tried to cut into it. One thing I have to say about this album is, at least it was made with heart, and that's one thing I can say for a lot of George's albums. They were made with heart. They weren't made to be corporate sellouts. They were made just because of music. And this does include music. So, I'll give it that. You have music. Good job, George. But yeah, you're pretty meh. Next up is Jethro Tull's Stormwatch. This is a good album. It's not a great album, but it's a good album. It's not bad, but it's good. It's got very nice lyrics that I'm trying to decipher. I still can't decipher. I don't understand. Please help me. Help me! And the instrumentals are pretty nice too. Elegy is pretty nice. Oh, and Warm Spoilers. It's got this nice disco beat that I like. Oh, and Dark Ages is just so epic. Oh, and oh yeah, there are other songs on here. Right, I forget they exist. North Sea Oil, it's nice. Orion's nice. Metallica did it better. Something's on the Move, nice disco. Done Ringo, it's nice. It's a nice album. A little forgettable. And the big plan of Jethro Tull albums, but pretty nice. I'm glad I got it. And I wouldn't recommend this. I'd probably recommend Aqualung or Thick as a Brick, even though I've never listened to either in their entirety. Whatever. I still recommend both of those albums. Alright, next up, Billy Joel's 52nd Street. This is a great album, honestly. It's a nice jazzy rock fusion. It's got a Big Shot, Honesty, My Life, Zanzibar, and those are the only songs on side one. And they deliver. They really do deliver. Stiletto is nice. Rosalinda's Eyes is nice. Half a Mile in the Way is great. It's got this nice beat. Until the Night, the soul influenced one. It's taken me a while to get used to, but it's nice. The only song I have a problem with is 52nd Street because it's like too short. I don't know. It just comes at the end. I don't know. I don't really have much of a problem with it because this is a nice album. It's got nice trumpets and guitars, pianos. I mean, he is the piano man. There's going to be good piano on this album. I mean, you knew that. So, yeah. I would recommend this one. It's nice American rock. And now on to the English piano man, Elton John, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This is a nice album. Great. This album, kind of like the Beatles' White Album, it attacks every genre that was popular at the time. Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, and like all the obnoxious progressive rock tunes that were coming on. Candle in the Wind is the soft rock ballad. Benny and the Jets is like glam rock and it's shining. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, same thing to Candle in the Wind. Jamaica Jerk Off, it's similar to ska and reggae, and it's not very good. I've seen that movie too. It's like the slow Baroque pop tunes. Sweet Painted Lady, it's like a nod to the 20s ballad of Danny Bailey. Pretty forgetful too, but not bad. All Girls Love Alice, kind of like Benny and the Jets, but Benny and the Jets will always be better. Your sister can't twist, but she can rock and roll. It's the rock and roll. And it's not good either. Saturday Night's alright. This song is alright. It's nice hard rock. Roy Rogers and Social Disease. They're like two attacks at two country genres. Roy Rogers, like, it's like, I've seen that movie too. It's pretty nice. And Social Disease, it's like bluegrass, I think. Harmony, we're back to the soft rock that was in Candle in the Wind. So yeah, this is a pretty good album. It's got its strengths. It's definitely got its weaknesses, but I think the strengths overpower the weaknesses. I think this is a solid album. I would not mind listening to it again if it meant the safety for my family. Now we have King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King. And I swear to God, if there are any JoJo fans that are about to comment on this video saying, hey, it's King Crimson, I will rain hellfire upon you. So yeah, this is a good album. It's a nice jazz, progressive jazz rock fusion thingy, yeah. It's got great songs, including a 21st Century Schizoid Man and Epitaph and Moonchild and False Freak because of its like 10-minute closing section. But then we have the Court of the Crimson King, which saves this record honestly, because if the Court of the Crimson King was not as good as any of the other songs, this would probably be an A tier because of Moonchild. Moonchild would have given this album an A tier, but because the Court of the Crimson King, the song, exists, I have to give this an S tier because it just closes the album so damn well. I love the Court of the Crimson King. I love this album. I cannot recommend this more enough. Wow, we did it. We found a record that makes me want to listen to the B-52s even more. Yeah, this is not a good album, honestly. It's kind of sad. It's got a good opener, Detroit Rocksteady. That's a nice opener, but the rest of the album just falls so inferior. Glam rock is fine. Glam metal I can tolerate, but Kiss Destroyer? No, I don't think I can tolerate this. It's so obnoxiously pretentious. I'm saying if people like this, that's fine. I'm glad you like this. I'm sorry that I didn't, because I don't know what I was missing. For everyone that says this is a good album, I have to say, why? Why do you think this is a good album? But that's just me. If you like it, good for you. On to the Untitled album from Led Zeppelin. This is a great album from start to finish, and I love it. It's got Black Dog, which is a great opener. It's got Rock and Roll, which is some nice, good old-fashioned rock and roll. It's really nice. The Battle of Evermore. It's the only time you'll hear a female on Led Zeppelin's music, and the harmonies between Robert Plant and Sandy Cheeks, they're really nice. And all the other the band members, they do good too. Pimmy Jage on guitar, he does great, and the Navy guy, the guy from the Navy, he does good on bass too. But the real standout is Jonzo Bazongo on drums. He does a great job. Stairway to Heaven is freaking overrated. I hate it. I used to love it, but I hate how much overplayed it is. There are so many other good songs on here, like Misty Mountain Hop and Four Sticks. Going to California is a super sweet ballad, and I love it. But the real standout track on here is When the Levee Breaks, which is the greatest album closer of all time. There will be people who disagree with me, but I don't care. I think it is the greatest album ender of all time. And this is just a great romp from start to finish. I love it. I definitely recommend it. On to Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. It's like Led Zeppelin 4. But kind of worse. You know how some bands have this huge hit and they just kind of sell out by making the same thing? This is what Led Zeppelin did. Just like the Untitled album, there are 4 songs on each side. They're all good songs, not mind you, but I don't know, it just feels like a kind of recycled version of number 4. The song remains the same, it's a nice overture. The Rain song is a beautiful ballad, I love it, but it's not as beautiful as Over the Hills and Far Away.
Tellys come to play. Yay.
It's a great song. It's beautiful. It's everything you want a Led Zeppelin song to be. Oh, and the parody songs, The Crunch and Jamaica, they're both terrible. Cringe. But I love them either way, I don't know why. No Quarter though. It's just so spooky and ethereal. It's just a really great track. The Ocean, it's like When the Levee Breaks. It's a great album closer, but not the best. The Ocean is very energetic. That's the word I'd use. And if The Ocean was like literally anything else, this would just be an okay album. But The Ocean, it just puts some energy into you. It's a really great album closer. Again, not as good as When the Levee Breaks, but still good. So bottom line, this is a great album. It's not the greatest album, but it's a personal favorite of mine. I'd recommend it. And another one I'd recommend, John Lennon and the Plastic Ono Band, his first solo album. Yes, I do think this is his first solo album. His experimental avant-garde things, I do not count, and I do not want to count them. But yeah, this is a really, really emotional album. I play this every time I feel bored. I need some emotion in my life. Because this is a pretty good album. I mean, Mother is one of the most tear-jerking songs that Lennon ever wrote. Hold On, it really gets a whole new meaning now that we're in this pandemic thing, and I love it. I Found Out, great song. Working Class Hero, it's a wonderful guitar ballad. Isolation, again, gets a whole new meaning in the pandemic crisis. Remember is the kind of weaker, but it's still pretty good. Love is just beautiful ballad. And Well, it's very repetitive, but I think that works in the song's favor. It's like proto-grunge. I mean, this song, along with some songs from the Hendrix Experience, I believe, they directly inspired Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that stuff. And I think this is why I like this album so much, because it sounds like Nirvana, and I like Nirvana. And Look at Me, and yeah, it's the weakest song on the album, but still cool. I forget it exists. God, oh my god. Probably the best song on the album aside from Mother. The first 2/3 of the song are very tear-jerking, and that isn't to say the last third is tear-jerking as well, but at least it's heartwarming to know that John knows where he's going with his life. My Mummy's Dead, the actual final song on this album, it's less than a minute long, but it's still a great song. Kinda sad too, because he just sings it in this monotone voice. It's the best solo Beatles album I've ever heard. Yes, that includes All Things Must Pass. I am not taking any criticism at this time. All Things Must Pass is number 2. Plastic Ono Band is number 1. Alright, of course I recommend this. Next up we have Imagine. This is a great album. It's definitely no Plastic Ono Band, but it's definitely up there. I mean, the title track is one of his best. Crippled Inside, it's nice. Jealous Guy, oh yeah. Oh, give me some more of that Jealous Guy. I like that one. I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, Mom. It's probably the most progressive that John's ever gotten. I frankly don't think John would like progressive rock if he listened to it, but probably I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, Mom is his most progressive work, and I like it. Give Me Some Truth. It's in the same vein as I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, Mom. It's anti-war. I Don't Want to Be a Soldier it's more impacting because it frankly has less words in it. And Give Me Some Truth, John is specifically name-calling. And I don't think that works in the song's favor. It's a nice song, but it doesn't really work in its favor. Speaking of name-calling, How Do You Sleep is John's most scathing track, directed to Paul. And it's truly an experience to hear John yell at his former friend. I mean, and How is personally one of my favorite songs from John because it's just so introspective and I relate to the lyrics, and that's the thing with John. He relates to people. He is not a perfect human being. None of us are, and that's what makes him such a great artist in my opinion. And I would recommend this album. Remember how I said George Harrison's Somewhere in England was very disjointed, but not like Doors disjointed where it was fun, but sad disjointed? Well, that's the same thing with John's Walls and Bridges, because it's very disjointed. It doesn't know whether it wants to be party rock or smooth ballads. It doesn't know whether it wants to be some good old time rock and roll. It's very disjointed, but in a strange way, it's actually better than Somewhere in England. It's actually one of his better albums. Whatever Gets You Through the Night, his collaboration with Elton John, that's a great party rock song, but then it transitions to Old Dirt Road, the ballad. Oh, so we're gonna get used to this soft rock stuff. Nope, we're going to What You Got. It's a nice party rock. Party rockers in the house. And Blessed You and Scared are kind of forgetful too. They're kind of blues rooted. They don't really add much. Number 9 Tree, it's a psychedelic piece. It's nice. Surprise, Surprise, Sweet Bird of Paradox. Again, all that party rock. It just switches genres so often. And not in the good way, like in Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but rather the weird way, like Morrison Hotel. Steel and Glass and Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out is probably my two favorite songs from this album because they're slow, and Steel and Glass, like How Do You Sleep is a scathing remark, but not this time, not at Paul, but one of his former managers, I don't know his name. There's especially a lot of sax on this record, and I play the sax, so that's nice. I could do without the spontaneous yah-yah at the end, but it'll do. It's a nice record, albeit a little disjointed. Would not recommend. Finally, a jointed Lennon album, Rock and Roll. It's not as good as Walls and Bridges, but at least it's what it says on the tin. Rock and Roll. These are honestly some good covers. My personal favorites are Stand By Me, You Can't Catch Me, and Sweet Little 16. Oh, and Slipping and Sliding. Rest in peace, Little Richard. That's a great cover as well. Oh, and Just Because. That's a great song as well. There's some nice beats from Dr. Winston O'Boogie. Oh, and here's where I actually want to hear yah-yah, not for a minute at the end of a party rock record. So this is nice. It's got nice tunes. It's just a nice record. It's just not as good as Walls and Bridges. And we're just gonna have to live with that. And here's my only other heavy metal record, Metallica's Master of Puppets. It's a pretty nice record. Battery it's great. And Master of Puppets, it's my favorite Metallica song. Right now, at least, so I only listened to this album once. I'm just going off faded memories. Disposable Heroes is a great anti-war song. Orion, yeah, Orion's probably one of the best instrumentals I've heard from a heavy metal band. And that includes Rat Salad. And the middle section waltz is probably my favorite because it highlights Cliff Burton's bass very much. Damage Incorporated, it's one with all the F sounds and whatnot, and I'm a Christian, and I don't want to hear my children say the F word because of Damage Incorporated. I hate this album. It has the bad words. But seriously, I will recommend this one. Next up, the Steve Miller Band, Book of Dreams. Honestly, this album could as well be what the Beatles made if they ever made it to the 70s. I mean, they definitely wouldn't have. But it would be nice to know. It's got great synthesizer-led pieces like Threshold and Electro Lux Imbroglio. I think that's how you say it. I took Italian for 5 years. I should know how to say imbroglio. They're still nice. I mean, critics would have hated it because it was synthesizers in a Beatles album, and you don't hear synthesizers in a Beatles album, but it's pretty nice. Jet Airliner, Swingtown, and Jungle Love are the best songs on this album, and I'm glad they are. Sacrifice is pretty good too, and pretty much the other songs are pretty forgettable, but that isn't to say they're too bad. But if it was up to me, I'd switch Wish Upon a Star and Babes in the Wood. I mean, Wish Upon a Star it's a better way to end the album in my opinion. So yeah, this is a good album. Yeah. Coming up next, we have Nirvana's Nevermind. Yep, this is like the only modern album I have on vinyl, and quite personally I like that. I wish I had more, honestly. But so yeah, this is a great album. It's beautiful. I wouldn't say it's beautiful, but Smells Like Teen Spirit, the official teen anthem, kind of overrated. In Bloom and Breed, great. Come As You Are, great. Lithium, great. Polly, great. So it does beg the question, why would you want to have sex with a tadpole? I don't know why you want to rape Polly. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I especially don't like the Little Richard that's on this cover. I want to cover it. I want to cover it right now. Territorial Pissings. That has the P word in it, and I will not like anything that has a curse word. Drain You it's pretty nice. Stay Away, it's like lithium, so yeah. On a Plane is one of the most beautiful songs that Nirvana has created. It can only be rivaled by Something in the Way, which is really a really great album closer. So, again, not as good as When the Levee Breaks, but still good. So yeah, this is the official teenage anthem, everybody. And they do not do a bad job. They do a great job, and I like this album. I love this album. I want to recommend this album to everyone I know. A+. You get a gold star. Alright, so the next album is, it's actually one of the rarest albums, I think. My dad's friend was in this band, so don't expect to hear about it in the news or anything, but basically, it's a country band called the OMI Express. The OMI standing for Old Miners In from Colorado. And their album was called No Breaks. I listened to it only once because I'm not really that much a country guy. If I'm going to listen to some soft stuff, I'd prefer folk. But honestly, this is a nice album. It's got nice country tunes to it. There's really not much to say about it. It's great. I can dig. for now. Next up, we got Pink Floyd. Oh yeah, the Cow album. It's actually called Adam Heart Mother, but the Cow album. It sounds more funny. I like the Cow album. It's got great songs like Adam Heart Mother, the Sweet in 6 parts. It's got great parts, and then there's Roger Waters, the Stoneman song If, which is a great song. Oh, I frequent myself on the Pink Floyd Circle Jerk subreddit, and it has a lot of in-jokes relating to Pink Floyd, so if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just go to that subreddit and hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying. Next up we have Rick, the Fired Keyboardist song Summer 68. I prefer Summer 69, but it's still a nice song either way. Then we have Gilmy's song, Fat Old Sun, and without giving too much away, it's the best song on the album. What do you know? I mean, Summer 68 is much more well known, but Fat Old Sun is just more beautiful, and I like me a beautiful folk tune. Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast is Pink Floyd just doing ASMR, and I kinda love it. I mean, the middle section, of course, is probably the most beautiful tune Pink Floyd has ever made. So yeah, Adam Heart Mother, it was made in 1970, so like 3 years before Dark Side of the Moon, a year before Metal, which is like in my opinion, their first truly amazing album. And Adam Heart Mother, it's got its struggles, but honestly, it's one of Pink Floyd's best works. I think it's kind of underrated, even more underrated than Animals. Yeah, that's another Pink Floyd Circle Jerk meme. You'll understand it if you listen to it. Oh yeah, here we go. The Dark Side of the Moon. It's the album that everyone talks about, and all of its praise, let me just tell you, it deserves it all, because it's just so cool. Speak to Me, Breathe in the Air, On the Run. They just come together so well. Time, it's just a beautiful piece. A Great Gig in the Sky is just a beautifully haunting piece, and it deals on the subject of death and whatnot, and that's why I really don't like to listen to this album so much, but it's still a really great album. Then we get to side 2 with all the less existential themes, like money and us and them. They relate to corporate greed and war, respectively. And they're Pink Floyd's most popular songs, so yeah, I like those. Any Color You Like is the best instrumental that Pink Floyd has ever done. Probably one of my favorite instrumentals of all time, because it just sounds so psychedelic and progressive. I love it. It's just so beautiful. Brain Damage and Eclipse. Oh yeah. That is how you end an album. I mean, When the Levee Breaks will always be my favorite album ending ever, but Brain Damage and Eclipse, they just make it work so freaking well.
Again, not as good as When the Levee Breaks, but still good.
This is a really great album, and it's a real testament to the human experience. And I don't like to think about the human experience. Someone asked me, do you think Dark Side of the Moon is the best album of all time? And I tell them, The Dark Side of the Moon isn't even the best album by Pink Floyd. So what is the best album by Pink Floyd? It's Wish You Were Here. I love this album. It is beautiful from beginning to finish. I cannot find a single bad thing to say about this album. It's got heart, it's got soul, it's got grit, it's got blues, it's got prog, it's got psych, it's beautiful. Shine On You Crazy Diamond parts 1 through 9. They are just so sublime. I love them. I love them. I love them. Welcome to the Machine. It's a nightmarish look into getting into the music business. Have a Cigar. It's more joking, but it's just so good. The lyricsmanship is so great, and the guest singers, lead vocals, they sing so good. And of course, there's the title track, which is just as beautiful as everyone says it is. I mean, there really isn't that much bad to say about it. In fact, I don't think there's anything bad to say about it. I mean, everyone does their best. The Fired Keyboarders, the texture he adds to the album is just great, and Gilmy's guitar really had that blues edge that Pink Floyd always had, and Rog, the Stone Man, whose daddy died, he does great penmanship, bass lines. He really does a great job on this record. His face looks like a horse. At the time of Wish You Were Here, the funny Stone Man decided that he wanted to take Pink Floyd out for himself, and that's what he did in Animals. It's basically a concept album. It's bookended by these 2 love songs. Pigs on the Wing are the same song, just with a number. Dogs is a great song, great epic song. Gilmy does his best, and I especially love Rick's keyboard solo around the middle. I mean, I don't think he composed it, but he does such a good job with it. Pigs, 3 different ones, it's a nice bluesy sound. I like that one. I love how Gilmy uses the guitar to mimic Pig. It's pretty cool. And of course, there's always Roger's great penmanship. All the songs on here are S tier. I mean, I think Dark Side of the Moon is technically better than Animals, but I still love this one. Oh, I especially love Sheep. I mean, it is a perfectly epic song. It is one of the most epic songs that Pink Floyd has done. It is probably the apex of their career. This is S tier. It's not as good as Dark Side of the Moon, but it is definitely S tier. Oh, and don't let them deceive you. This is not underrated.
Hey, that's a Queen, you know. That's an in-joke, you know.
So yeah, this is like a compilation album. It's a nice compilation album, but it's not. I'm not really much a pop rock guy, but I can do some Queen. Bohemian Rhapsody, of course it's Bohemian Rhapsody. Of course you're gonna love it. And the rest of the songs really aren't much to talk about. They're all great songs. I either love them or like them. With some songs like Save Me and Play the Game, they're really not that memorable, but the rest of the songs on here are pretty tight. Even though I'm not much a Queen fan myself, I can still listen to this album if I want to. Now on to the Rolling Stones' Tattoo You. You know, it's kind of a shame that this is my first Rolling Stones record. I mean, I would have expected Beggar's Banquet or Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers or Exile on Main Street, but nope, I got Tattoo You. It's not a bad album, it's far from it, but it's just weird. I mean, I did not expect Tattoo You to be my first Rolling Stones album. Start Me Up and Hang Fire. They're good opener songs, yeah. And Slave, it's this nice slow bluesy song. It's nice. It's akin to the Doors a little bit. Little TNA is Keith Richards' song on here. It's not Mick's song, but it's Keith's song. And not gonna lie, it's kind of sexist. But at least it's got nice vocals and instruments, so it's nice. Other songs on here include Worried About You, which is nice, and No Use in Crying, really nice. But Waiting on a Friend is one of the Stones' most beautiful songs. I like that one. I like it. The one problem with this song is that some of the songs on here are kind of forgettable. I don't know what it is. I just can't remember most of them. Yeah, this is like a trace back to the Stones' older roots, and maybe that's their problem. You gotta keep on moving forward. No use in looking back. Yeah, that's right. I kind of borrow that lyric from Rush's Anthem, which is on Rush's album Fly By Night, which is the next album I'm going to review. You see, I'm looking at this album art, you can tell you're in for a very wintry time. Anthem, which I already alluded to, is a great song. It's a great opener. Best I Can, Beneath, Between, and Behind. They pale in comparison. By Torn the Snow Dog it's like Geddy Lee versus Alex Lifeson on who's going to be the guitarist for the group. The instrumental parts are the best, honestly. Fly By Night, the title track is a very catchy song. Making Memories, like Best I Can and Beneath, Between, and Behind, it's very forgettable, but it's still nice. Rivendell is beautiful. What can I say, man? You tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, Linkin Park did it better. But honestly, this isn't a bad Rush album. It's not great, it's not bad, but it's a good Rush album. Pretty nice for Mr. Pert's debut in Rush. On to the live album, All the World's a Stage. Yeah, it's in pretty tattered condition, but it's still nice. You know, it has the same problem as that Brahms Symphony record collection. As you see here, side 1, it has 2 records on here, and side 1 is on the first record. But side 2 is on the second record. Side 3 is on the second record, which is fine. But side 4 is on the first record. Why do people do this? I genuinely want to know. I dropped a star for this. I don't know why, but it infuriates me. The one thing I like about this album is, around here it says, "It is not perfect, but it is faithful to us and to you." And when you get down to it, that's really the real message of this album. It's not perfect, but it's great. It's what we have, and what they have is really good. I like this album. It's a nice live album. It makes me want to listen to some Rush, which is what I did after I listened to this album. I listened to their next album, A Farewell to Kings, which is probably my favorite Rush album right now. I haven't listened to Hemispheres or Moving Pictures. Okay, I actually have listened to Moving Pictures and I like it better than A Farewell to Kings, but I don't have it on vinyl, so I can't give you my true opinions. A Farewell to Kings is a great album from start to finish. I mean, it has weaker spots on Madrigal, and I think Closer to the Heart is more radio friendly, which doesn't really work in its favor, but it's still pretty cool. The title track is pretty nice, Cinderella Man, but it's nice hard. The long epics on here, they're just great. Xanadu is a nice little mini opera, and Cygnus X1, the album Ender, is one of the best endings I've ever heard. I mean, it's not when the levee breaks, but it is so epic. You want more. You need more. You need to know what happens to that poor astronaut. This is like the perfect ending. You know, aside from when the levee breaks. Don't listen to what the haters say. And by haters, I mean Robert Christgau. This is not obnoxious in any way. Okay, it's kind of obnoxious with the high vocals, but at least it's not devoid of character. Now on to Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. It's a nice album for all the blue-collar people, the working-class heroes and whatnot. I wish I could relate to this album more, but it's pretty nice the way it is. Thunder Road, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, Born to Run, Jungle Land. If Springsteen never recorded anything after this album, he'd probably go down in history as one of the best writers of all time, honestly. I mean, this is just a great album with great lyrics, great instrumentation. I'm warming up to it more. Every day I warm up to it, and I like that. I love it. Alright, next up we have his trademark album, Born in the USA. And look at that nice thick ass. Oh, yes, Bruce, give me more! So yeah, the title track is nice. Cover Me is nice too. Darlington County is nice. Most of these songs on here range from nice to good. It's a good record. I mean, it's no Born to Run, but it's nice. My favorites on here are Bobby Jean, because it reminds me of this girl I knew in freshman year. Glory Days, it just makes me think about how cool my future would be with all childhood friends coming back. I don't know. So yeah, this is a nice album. Would recommend, even if it is popular than Born to Run. No. Alright, now to some easy listening stuff. This is a really nice record, even though it really isn't my type of stuff. I prefer classical over easily listening stuff. So forgive me if I seem a little biased for putting an F tier. It's just not my stuff. I mean, it is a nice record, but it's not my stuff. If you're gonna put it in S tier, that's fine, but I'm gonna put it in D tier. I don't care. It's just a nice record, but it's not my thing. I'm sorry. Next up, we have Van Halen's 1984. This is a nice, hard, heavy glam metal album. Much better than Kiss's Destroyer. What am I saying? Anything would be better than Kiss's Destroyer. Jump is the iconic Van Halen song, and with good reason. Oh, and then there's Panama, which is a great song as well. Hot for Teacher. I don't know why, but I just love Hot for Teacher. It's just so funny. David Lee Roth's vocals really sell it. It's just, they went this far for Cougar Love. I love it. I'll Wait is also a nice ballad. If I had one little snag about this album, it's too synth driven. When I listen to Van Halen, I don't think of synthesizers. I think of hard, heavy guitar shredding. But still nice for what it is. I actually wanted the debut album, but I got this instead, so yeah, it's okay for what you have, I guess. Next up, we have The Who, Live at Leeds. One of the best live albums I've ever heard. Although, I don't understand why I can't hear the people cheering during the song. You can hear them cheering when the songs are over, but you can't hear them cheering when they're playing the songs. I mean, you're at a concert, people, for The Who! The freaking Who! Clap required! So yeah, the songs on here are really great, especially Summertime Blues and the epic My Generation / See Me Feel Me / improv / it's really good. Magic Bus is also great. What is there to say, man? It is The Who at their rawest form. You cannot hear this in a studio. You can only hear this in the stadium. Next we have probably one of the greatest compilations ever, The Who, Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy. This is a really great record. Honestly, it really shows The Who maturing from 1965, I think it was, to like the nice year. My one problem is that some of the older songs, they like the mono. I don't know if they're mono or studio or whatever, but they sound like the speakers are about to blow out, which is my main problem for their album A Quick One. The speakers always sound like they're about to blow out, and I hate that. I hate that so much. But honestly, this is a great album. It has such great classics like The Kids Are Alright, I Could See for Miles, My Generation, ooh, The Pinball Wizard. Oh yeah, Tommy's a great album as well.
Boris the Spider.
These are just great songs for a great compilation album I would recommend. Our penultimate album, people. I can't believe we made it this far. Who are you? You are an inferior album. New song is nice, and I liked Had Enough, but it quickly grew cold. 905 I just did not like at all. Sister Disco took some while for me to go up to. And this album has good strong points like Guitar and Pen and Love Is Coming Down. These are some nice songs on the album, man. Trick of the Light is one of John's compositions. You know, the big Oxman. There are four members of the Who. There's Oxman. There is Robert Plant and the Austin Moon, and he has a weird face. The title track is the best song on this record. There isn't really much to say. It's meh. Wouldn't recommend. Remember how I said Hell's Bells from Back in Black was the best song to open on if I'm doing all my records alphabetically? Well, Soily is the best album to end on. That comes from Wings Over America. You know Wings, Paul McCartney's solo band from the 70s. Yeah, this is one of the great live albums. It's a triple album, and unlike Brahms and Rush, the sides are actually in order, so it makes for a more better experience. What do you know? Venus and Mars and Rock Show and Jet. It's a great opener. Side 2, it's got Maybe I'm Amazed and Live and I Die, Long and Winding Road. These are just some great songs. There's also Paul's, Stunt Devil singing Richard Cory, a Simon & Garfunkel song. It's really nice. The standout song on side 3 is the cover of I've Just Seen a Face. It's just really a nice song. Side 4 is probably the most forgettable, in my opinion, but whatever. Side 5 has Let 'Em In and Silly Love Songs. That's it. Side 6 is probably the most rocking side out of all of them. I mean, they really let go. Especially since the first song on this side is Letting Go. And then it goes to Band on the Run, which is just great. And then they go into High, High, High and Soily, which if you've been paying attention to my Twitter is what was playing when I got 1,000 subscribers. And so yeah, you open with the bells and the great opening instruments on Hell's Bells, and you end with just this orgasm of oh yeah on Soily. This is just a great way to end an album. And the live album is great. Not as good as Live at Leeds, or maybe better than All the World's a Stage, but it's really good. And we did it! I went through all my records. And now, it's time to rank them. Come on.
Alright. Welcome everybody to the ranking. So, let's just start. We have Animals, of course, it's going to God tier. And Jethro Tull's Stormwatch. It's good. It's not great. It's not meh. It's just good. Dark Side of the Moon. Yep, of course, it's going to God tier. Oh, and Plastic Ono Band. It's definitely going to God tier. You're gonna notice there's gonna be a lot of God tiers in here. The Doors, Waiting for the Sun. I don't know why Waiting for the Sun wasn't included on Waiting for the Sun. Why could it be? Why did it have to be in Morrison Hotel? I don't know why. I don't like why it's good. It's not meh. It's just good. It's better than Toll, honestly. Walls and Bridges. It's great. Yeah, I mean it's disjointed, but it's pretty great. What do I have to say for this? Aladdin Sane. Yep. It's Bowie's most poppiest in my opinion, but at least it's good pop. It's not the bad pop. It's the good pop. It's Aladdin Sane. It's David Bowie. You can't go wrong with Bowie unless you're like in the late 80s or 90s. Also, what was that stuff on his shoulder? What was it? Did I just see cum on David Bowie's shoulder? Stop inviting Rod Stewart to the recording studio. Tattoo You. It's a nice one. Of course. The Brahms symphonies are not bad too. They're saved from being good because they have good sound. I'd put them in good if it was just for the side order alone. I think it's better than Tattoo You, but not that much. Moving on. I don't know whether to put this in front of or behind Waiting for the Sun. I don't know. I'm just gonna put in front of Waiting for the Sun. Yeah. Live at Leeds. So, it's pretty nice, it's pretty cool. I dig it. Meaty, beady, big and bouncy. Meaty, beady, that says a lot right there. Nirvana's Nevermind. I know it's God tier, but I never knew what to make of it. Is it better than the Animals? Is it not? I don't know. I'm just gonna say it's better than Animals because why not? Born to Run. There we go. It's the Doors self-titled album. But yeah, that was one trip. I'll tell you that. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. It's great. It's not good enough to be God tier. Probably because of the production. I don't know why, but it's still good. Meh. Yep, it's meh. Who Are You is just meh. And that's what you're gonna have to live with. It Belong isn't good. It's better than AC/DC, honestly, I think. Rush is a Farewell to Kings. I almost said a Farewell to Kinks. Yeah, it belongs around here. It's Abbey Road. I legit think it's better than Dark Side of the Moon because I don't know. I just like listening to it better. If I like to listen to an album more, that means I think it's better. That's just, I think that's just human logic. Adam Heart Mother, I think it like I said, it's pretty underrated. I don't think it's good as a Farewell to Kings, but I think it's better than Walls and Bridges. Billy Joel's 52nd Street. It's got great writing. I think it's better than Tattoo You. Not as good as Brahms' Disjointed album. Another great album. A lot of these are gonna be either God or great, so forgive me. But I only like to collect the good records. If I ever collect a bad record, it's because of my parents. Springsteen. It's just on the cusp of good. But it's great, but it's just on the cusp of good. Here we go. The Buffett, the CD that I don't have. I don't have the record, but I wish I had it. I could just I honestly don't know if Walls and Bridges is better than Changes and Attitudes or not. I'm just gonna put it in the front to trigger off some people. I don't know. Hunky Dory, that is probably my favorite Bowie album right now, aside from Love, but I don't have that on record, so. In 4 days, it's saved from being. If my stylus even touches you, I swear. For its nice lyrics and when the coast is clear, so it's nice. George Harrison, self-titled album. Yeah, this is a good spot. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. Yeah, I think this is good placing. I mean, I think Elton John the Elton John album is better than the Billy Joel album because it's more versatile. I don't know. This is the only Billy Joel album I have. I know The Stranger is better. I just do. John, Imagine. This isn't. Just keep in mind this is all personal opinion. If you disagree, that's fine. But your opinion is invalid to me because I don't know you. I'm also. I also forgot to mention this, but not to stop talking about my record collection for a little bit, but yes, I am working on a YTP, as you can see right here. I can give you a little snippet of what is to come. There, that's the frame sneak peek you're gonna get. I hope you like it. Yep, there we go. This is a very conflicting album, honestly. Yeah. There are a lot of albums that are better than this one. It's good, but it's just not as good. You could just see it slowly sinking down. Yeah. You know, it's actually kind of better than Animal Heart Mother. Whatever. Magical Mystery Tour. Yep. One thing I can say is that it's better than a TV movie. Yep. Metallica, Master of Puppets. Alright. I'm trying to find a good place for it. Rush. I think this is a good spot. Oh, my queen proceeds to throw money at webcam. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a good spot. Yeah, this is meta territory. Yeah, the Untitled album. It's just great. It's just a great adventure thing. I like it. Oh, King Crimson, I forgot to put you in your place. I put you in your tier, but I forgot to put you in your place. Yeah, oh yeah, you're a great album. You have Moonshot, so you're going behind doors. And Revolver, you're going behind King Crimson. And rock and roll. Rock and roll, dude. Let's see, yeah, this is a good spot for it. Right here. Rubber Soul. Like I said, I prefer Bitter. I prefer it to Revolver, even though I love both of them. Just don't get rustled up over that. Rush. The live album is good. It's not good. It's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it's good. They tried their best, and that's all that matters. Fly By Night, it's the same thing. It's not their best, but they tried, and that's all that matters. Am I right? Yeah. Like I said before, Sgt. Pepper's is my favorite album, even though Rubber Soul was personally my favorite. Yep, we have some more meh. That country stuff, the country stuff my dad's friend was in. It's nice. Not to trigger my dad's friend, but I put it around here. Yeah. B-52 has, at least it's better than those other two albums. So, it's like borderline meh. If I gave the New Wave one more chance, maybe I'd put it higher, I don't know. LA Woman. Alright, yeah, I think that's good. Morrison Hotel. It's a great, Okay. I'd say that I put in behind Born in the USA. You know what? Let's just put Queen in front of there. And while we're at, let's put on John. Van Halen, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'll put it behind Steve Miller for now. The White Album, of course, it goes right here. And that only leaves Wings. What better way to end than with the Soily album? It's pretty good. That's all I can say for it. Well, that's it. I reviewed and ranked all of my records. I hope you're satisfied. Now, I'd just like to take this time to thank the people that have been with me since the beginning, including the funny fat girl who likes musicals, and the one with the My Little Pony profile picture, and Hal Stewart. I can't forget Hal Stewart. And the dog walker enthusiast. You can't forget the dog walker enthusiast, and Calamity in Action, the classical geek I told you about, and so many more that I don't want to mention because I'm pressed for time. I can't believe I actually made it to 1,000 subscribers. Like, I actually could have done it without any of you. I am forever in your debts, and don't worry, that new YTP is coming soon. Hopefully, it probably will. Thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. I really am happy over this. Thank you. Good night.